going to continue the normal duties of a inspector for training purposes on what we do for a normal vehicle inspection. My phone ran out of storage on the last part, so I do apologize for that. But continuing where we left off, we just want to make sure to once again double check the entire knee assembly of all 4 knee assemblies. So we're going to check the spindle. We're going to check all control arms, upper, lower, front, and trailing. We're going to check the stabilizing bar. Making a note of this back bushing right there that's actually mounted to the frame or the K-frame. That bushing right there is the one specifically that we're trying to keep an eye out for. It's got some rubber in it, and sometimes it's cracked or even torn. We want to make sure to mention that in the video. After that, we just want to do the exact same thing, but on the front of the vehicle. Checking the front spindle, front suspension spring, front dust cover. So this dust cover is damaged, very much so on the top. It's all gross and cracked, and the rubber is damaged. So this is actually a great example of what I was talking about in the end of the last video. This is what's known as an endling, and it has been cut. But we do not guarantee these, so I like to mention them in my videos that I do, but it's just extra information. It's not completely necessary. We don't guarantee these to the customer. So more specifically, we just want to look out for the metal and these bushings right there. That's what they look like. So that rubber actually looks pretty good. We just want to check all control arms, and while we're underneath the vehicle, we're going to check the lower portion of the cross member, the lower portion of the stabilizing bar. If there was a steering gear rack, we would check the steering gear rack from below as well. We would also make sure to check the fan motor and radiator from underneath the vehicle. After that, we want to go over and do the exact same thing on the front right, checking the spindle, control arms, upper control arms if there are any, shock and suspension, making sure to check the dust cover. After that, we in the videos typically tend to go over the engine, checking for any major cracks or damage on the engine, making sure to ask the dismantler if there's been any water damage to the inside of the engine or transmission, going over the transmission as well, and asking the dismantler how the oil pans are doing on both, because typically by this point in the inspection process, especially because they're already on carts, the dismantlers have already gone over and emptied the oil pans, so they can give us a good idea on what the condition is of those. Some of the more common things of note is every once in a while these oil pans on these transmissions will have a kind of burnt oil smell, and we just want to make sure to note that in the video if that is the case. After that, typically we'd be a little more ahead of schedule, but we would check all of the parts that are typically laying near their workstation that are now in the trunk that I already went over earlier in the video. Those parts include the AC compressor, alternator starter, throttle body, engine cover, air cleaner box, intake manifold, carrier assembly, and transfer case. We also want to check the engine wire harness on most vehicles. European vehicles, we do not keep the wire harnesses because they are... I'm not a mechanic. I don't know the exact reason why, but I've been told they're one with the engine, and to get the engine out we have to cut the wire harness. But in American-made cars, we do want to check the condition of the wire harness and make sure that there is no damage to the clips. Now over here is the steering gear rack. On the steering gear racks, one of the things we want to note is whether or not these little bars on the ends are bent, these dust covers are ripped or damaged, or if there's any cracks or chips in the metal. And that is just about everything we go over in a typical vehicle inspection. I will upload another video hopefully after this one, showing the entire process beginning to end. Not really explaining everything I just went over in this video, but actually showing the process. So that is gonna complete this intake process.